thank and congratulate our Minister of Foreign Affairs and our ministry for organizing this traditional conference on behalf of myself and my great nation. Coronavirus, which affected not only our country but the whole globe, unfortunately led this conference to take place in a manner that we really didn't desire. Unfortunately, we couldn't host you the way that we wanted. But all the same, we would like to come together with our ambassador via a hybrid meeting format so that we can have our consultations together. And we are all together with all of our ambassadors and all of my consultants. Some of our ambassadors, due to the fact that they are working abroad, came in front of their laptops early in the morning, and some of them are in front of their screens very late at night. I'd like to congratulate all of you wholeheartedly for all the endeavors and success that you have shown so far. And this is, by the way, the first official program conference which is taking place with a local software. And I also would like to thank our digital transformation unit of the presidency and our engineers who have brought us this local software. I pray from God that this conference will be fruitful for our nation and for our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In addition to their ordinary duties and responsibilities, our ambassadors have also fought against the greatest pandemic in the recent years, coronavirus. Up until now, this pandemic has led to the loss of 1.3 million people all around the world. But at the same time, this outbreak has cast light on many problems of the world. And we have understood that the material wealth is not enough for establishing social welfare, and we have observed that this through a pandemic, and we have once again seen how weak the social security system of the advanced countries are. Our tradition has been founded on the motto that you should let people live so that the state will survive. And as a result, we have actually overcome this problem. The opposition party tried to direct us to a trap during this pandemic. By making use of our resources most efficiently, we didn't allow our resources to be wasted, and that's how we managed this process. And we didn't only help our Turkish citizens who have been living in Turkey, but we have also taken our Turkish citizens living in abroad under our wing, and we have supported them every way possible. With your extraordinary support, we extended the helping hand of our state to our Turkish citizens abroad. Within the auspices and the supervision of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the greatest operation of evacuation throughout the history of Republic has been carried out. So more than 100,000 Turkish citizens have met with their families thanks to this operation. And we have also brought 233 Turkish citizens who couldn't find medical help in the countries that they've been living via the medical ambulances. And more than 5,500 foreigners have been evacuated from our country with our help. And we have also helped 38,000 foreigners from more than 90 countries. We helped them for their return back to their hometowns. And we have given our help to 155 countries and 9 international organizations with our medical devices and medical equipment. And we didn't carry out this help operation under the public diplomacy, but we have carried out those operations as a prerequisite of our humanitarian foreign policy approach. The sentences of Hazreti Mevlana, which has been written on the medical aid packages, is the reflection of our understanding. Behind despair, there is hope. Behind darkness, there is the beacon of light and sunlight. And our diplomats abroad have taken our citizens under their wings, and that was their motto as they were carrying out those facilities. Turkish Airlines, Turkish Crescent, Turkish Cooperation Agency, Marif Foundation, and Yunus Emre Institute, such kind of bodies have worked and collaborated in harmony, and they have supported our medical help activities. Our unit of coordination agency of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have been taken as a role model by many countries, and it is a really important reference for us. Within your presence at the moment, once again, I'd like to thank all of our diplomats, all of our officers who have worked day and night with great endeavor. In 248 foreign embassies where our flag is present, so I would like to thank all of you for making those foreign offices a shelter for all of our Turkish citizens. Of course, our fight hasn't come to an end because we will continue fighting against the coronavirus, and it is not certain when it will come to a halt. Especially in the previous weeks, unfortunately, the death toll and the new infected cases have come to scary figures. And as we have done so for the last 8 months, we will continue to manage this process by taking into consideration our national interest. We will not be overcome by languor, and we will not go into despair, and we will continue to act by taking into consideration the interest and the welfare of our 80 million citizens. We have come up with a motto abbreviated as TAMAM, so by obeying to the social distancing, hygiene and wearing masks, I am certain that we will overcome those challenging times. Valuable ambassadors, we have seen that world comes to a turning point at the moment after the pandemic. Unfortunately, the international organizations are inefficient interpreting these challenging times. The idleness among the international organizations became much more clearer. So the old people have this saying in Turkish: with the sunlight of the past, you cannot dry your clothes today. That's why we are adapting our rules according to this new era. Otherwise, the loss of reputation among these international organizations cannot be prevented. Protecting the minority rather than the rightful ones, the global order who is protecting the wealthy rather than the poor cannot sustain. And as Turkey, we have yelled this reality from the stage of the United Nations by saying that world is bigger than five. For the peace, welfare of the whole humanity, we should establish a new global order which will find its basis on justice rather than the material power. When we voice out this observation, some of the countries distance themselves towards us, but right now they started accepting the need for reform and started supporting our observations. And in the upcoming future, we will continue to voice out this rightful sentence. the 8 Turkic Council, the OIC, and the Black Sea Cooperation, such kind of international organizations' efficiency will be supported and will be improved. And the tendency of regionalization and the multipolarity is increasing among the international bodies and entities. The logistical centers in the global order is being reshaped at the moment, and the political and economic arena is being reshaped again, and it is such a critical juncture that the global order is redefined again, and we will make use of the geographical and geostrategical advantages of the Turkey, but it all depends on the steps to be taken right now. After both Second World War and the Cold War, Turkey unfortunately was not able to make use of the opportunities which have been opened for her. And we are certain that our nation and our country will not be sorrowful again in the future, and we are working with great endeavor for the welfare of our nation and our country. As we are taking our steps in the foreign policy, we always take into consideration the justice and the rightful interests of our nation. Without sacrificing from our great values, we are protecting our national interest. And the ones who are trying to destroy the democracy by supporting the terrorist organizations, and as everybody is trying to take care of themselves, that's what we do as Turkey. With the operations being carried out on Syria on field, we are not fighting against the Daesh, YPG and PKK terrorists. We are not throwing away them from our lands, but at the same time we have also helped the return of 411,000 of our Syrian brothers and sisters back to their countries. And we have also prevented a new humanitarian crisis in Idlib, and we prevented another humanitarian crisis and a flux of migration, and we are hosting 4.5 million refugees in Turkey, and we are also treating 4.5 million Syrians in Syria. There is no other country who can accomplish it. And the ones who are stating that they are siding with the poor and the needy didn't take such a step like Turkey did. The representatives of the capitalist economy, the advanced economies, have never taken such a step towards the refugees and the migrants, but Turkey has taken this step consciously and as a prerequisite of the humanitarian approach, and we will continue to do so. In addition to our presence on the field, we are doing our best in order to protect the political integrity and the territorial integrity of Syria. And through the operations that we have carried out in Iraq, we destroyed the terrorist organization, and the support that we have given to the legitimate government in Libya has prevented a civil war and the fall of Tripoli. And right now, the hope for political solution is flourishing again, and that is due to the intervention of Turkey. From education to the military cooperation, from economy to the commerce, we will continue to side by the Libyan nation. Our country has undertaken the burden of any developments in the Eastern Mediterranean, but of course we cannot overlook to our rights in the Eastern Mediterranean. Despite the provocations of the Greek Cypriots and Greece, We have always acted with our self-confidence and in a calm manner, and we are never uh, going away from the negotiation table. And we would like to make a call to the European Union to get rid of this strategic blindness against Turkey. It should be understood that the threats will yield no good. And we are again recommending a conference in which the neighbors and also the Turkish Cypriots will participate. This is a clear sign of our peaceful ambitions. As a result, the 400,000 cubic meters of the natural gas that we have discovered in Black Sea is another important indication for our peaceful aims. And I am certain that we will receive such good news of discoveries in the Black Sea region. Esteemed ambassadors, Turkey is not protecting only her rights, but Turkey should also be strong in order to protect the rights of her brotherly countries. As I stated all the time, Turkey is bigger than 780,000 square meters. And if you remember, at the entrance of the Topkapi Palace, it is stated that every oppressed will find shelter in Turkey. So we are such a country. From the Jewish people from Spain to the Soviet dissidents to the oppressed in Caucasians and the needies in Africa, whenever they are under trouble, they sought shelter in Turkey. We are such kind of a country. From Balkans to Turkestan, from Africa to the Middle East, Turkey cannot escape from the troubles and the challenges of her brothers and sisters. To Somalia, Yemen, Bosnia, to Afghanistan, to Pakistan, and to Arakan, we cannot overlook those regions, no matter how hard we want.
Tek millet, iki devlet şiarını paylaştığımız
Azerbaijan, with whom we are sharing the same mentality of two-state, one nation, we couldn't keep a blind eye against the invasion of the lands of Azerbaijan. We are present in Azerbaijan, we are present in Afghanistan. Why? Because they are our brothers and sisters.
Ve Ermenistan'ın 28 yıllık zulmü karşısında
in front of the oppression of Armenia for the last 20 years, unfortunately, the Minsk group didn't support the Azerbaijani people, and they made the Azerbaijani people to live as the fleers in the region, and they had to come back to the center of Azerbaijan because their lands had been invaded. This cruel invasion, which has lasted 28 years, couldn't be solved by the Minsk group. They just stole the peace process, and when we discussed this issue with them, the Minsk group didn't come up with a solution because they had no intention of finding the solution for this dispute in the region. But right now, our Azerbaijani brothers and sisters have taken care of this problem by themselves, and they solved the dispute already. And with tears of joy in our eyes, we have listened to the public announcement of our brother Ilham Aliyev after the fall of Shusha. Why? Because this is the prerequisite, this is the love of being two states, one nation. After the liberation of Shusha yesterday, our hopes and joy increased even further.
Merhum Mehmet Emin Resulzade'nin dediği gibi
As Mehmet Emin
bir kere
Resulzade
yükselen
stated,
bayrak
if you
bir
raise the
daha
flag once,
inmez,
this
inmeyecek.
flag will never go down again.
Dağlık Karabağ'daki işgal bitene kadar da mücadele
And we will
bayrağı
continue to
inşallah
fight until
inmeyecek.
the dispute
Bu
and the
vesileyle
invasion in
bir kez daha
Nagorno-Karabakh comes
İnamaliye
to a
başta olmak
halt.
üzere tüm
By taking this
Azerbaycanlı
opportunity,
kardeşlerimi
once again,
tebrik
I'd like
ediyor.
to congratulate all
Şehitlerimizi
my Azerbaijani
rahmetle
brothers and
anıyorum.
sisters, including but
İnşallah
not limited
kısa
to
sürede
Ilham
işgal
Aliyev. And I
altındaki
also would like to
başta
extend my condolences
evet
for our martyrs in
Kerpeçer
Azerbaijan,
ve Laçin olmak
Karpecher
üzere
and Lachin. Hopefully,
buralarda
those provinces
sahiplerine
will be
inşallah
liberated
teslim
and will go back to their rightful owners.
Aynı şekilde Filistin
In
halkının
a
tüm
similar
baskılara,
fashion,
şiddete ve işgale
the
karşı verdiği onurlu
Palestinian
mücadelede
people are
yalnız
fighting
bırakmayacağız.
against this
Öte yandan
invasion, and we
İslam
will
düşmanlığı
never
ve
leave them
yabancı karşıtlığını
alone.
yurt
And
dışında
we will
yaşayan
fight
milyonlarca
against the
insanımızı hedef alan
xenophobia and Islamophobia,
varoluşsal bir
which
tehditle
is
döndürmek
targeting the existence of
Hemen
our
her gün
citizens
Türklere ve
abroad.
Müslümanlara ait bir
Almost
camiye,
every day there
mescide,
is an
okula
attack on a
veya iş
masjid,
yerine
a
yapılan
school,
tacizin haberini
or
alıyoruz.
a mosque
İslam
which belongs to
düşmanlığı
the Muslims.
devlet başkanı seviyesinde teşvik ediliyor.
Islamophobia unfortunately takes place and is
Fikir
being
özgürlüğü
supported
bahanesi altında
by the
Müslümanların
government
kutsallarına
leaders
yönelik alçakça saldırılar
within the
düzenliyor.
disguise of the
İslam
freedom of
düşmanlığıyla
expression.
mücadele etmek
They
hem
are
inancımızın
attacking on the
hem de yurt dışındaki
sacredness of
vatandaşlarımıza
the
karşı
Muslims,
sorumluluğumuzun
and
bir gereğidir.
fighting against
40 yılda
Islamophobia
50
is
bin
our
vatandaşını
duty and
bölücü
our
teröre kurban
responsibility.
vermiş DAEŞ'la göğüs göğüse
We have
çarpışan
fought
tek ülke olarak
against
elbette
Daesh
mazlumlara
on the
yönelik
battlefield,
şiddeti
and we have
tasvip etmiyoruz.
lost more than
Ancak
40,000 of
sınır
our
dışı ettiği
citizens.
yabancı terörist savaşçıların batılı ülkelerde elini kolunu
But we
sallayarak
also have
eylem
observed that the
yapmalarını da
terrorists who have been thrown away by
PKK
Turkey
terörü tarafından
is
şehit edilen
carrying out
onlarca
demonstrations in
öğretmenimiz
Europe,
için
and that's something
en
we
ufak
cannot
üzüntü beyan
understand.
etmeyenlerin YPG'nin
The ones who are
elebaşılarını
not
kırmızı
expressing
halılarla
their
saraylarda
sorrows
ağırlayanların
after the
bizim
Turkish
tavrımızı
teachers
sorgulamasının
are being killed by
hiçbir
the
kıymeti
YPG
harfiyesi yok.
terrorists cannot question our approach against the terrorist organizations.
Türkiye terörle mücadelede dünyanın en
In the
ilkeli,
fight against the terrorism,
en
Turkey
kararlı
is the most
ülkesinden birisi.
principled and
Maruz
determined
kaldığımız
country
her
in the
türlü
world.
ithama, küresel barış ve
Despite all
istikrara
the
katkıda bulunacak
accusations and
adımlarla cevap
allegations,
vermeyi
we will do our best in
barış
order
için
to
arabuluculuk,
give an answer to those
girişimimizi
terrorist
Birleşmiş
operations.
Milletler, AGİT ve
And
İslam İşbirliği Teşkilatı'nda bir markaya
the intermediation for peace and our alliances for civilization has already been institutionalized under the United Nations.
kardeşimizin
Our ambassador Volkan
çoğunluğunun
Bozkır, with the
75. Genel Kurul
great
Başkanlığına
support
seçilmesi
of the
Türkiye
member countries,
ve
have been
Türk
chosen as the
diplomasisine duyulan
uh,
güvenin
General Secretary of the General Assembly, and this shows how the Turkish diplomacy is so much appreciated and respected.
diplomatlarımız sadece Birleşmiş Milletler'de değil,
Our diplomats are not active only in the United Nations, but in NATO,
İslam
in the
İşbirliği
Organization for
Teşkilatı'nda da
Security
üst düzey
and Cooperation in
görevler
Europe,
üstleniyor.
in UNESCO, and
Sadece
in
bu yıl
OIC.
7 farklı
Only
uluslararası
this
örgütün
year,
dönem
7
başkanlığını
different
hamdolsun
international organizations have been
Afrika ve
chaired
Latin
by
Amerika
Turkey,
bölgelerine yönelik
and
açılım politikaları yerini çoktan ortaklık
right
politikalarına
now we are not
Önümüzdeki
following
sene
the
üçüncü
opening foreign
Türkiye-Afrika
policy for
Birliği
the African
Ortaklık
and the Latin
Zirvesi'ne
American
ev
countries,
sahipliği
but we have
yapmayı
already started cooperating with them.
yeniden
And
Asya
next year,
girişimiyle
hopefully, we will organize the third
bölge
African
ve
and Turkey
uluslararası kuruluşlarla
cooperation
ilişkilerimize
conference
yeni bir
here
dinamizm
in Turkey.
kazandırıyor.
And hopefully, we will boost the
Salgın
dynamism
döneminde
in the Asian region
uluslararası
as well.
toplantıların
Throughout
devrimci
the
platformlar
pandemic, of
taşıması
course,
ve
the
artan
international
dijitalleşme
conferences will be
Dışişleri
taking
Bakanımızın
place
geçen
in the virtual environment, in the virtual platform. And as a result of that, the digital diplomacy will be carried out, and it has been shown that this was the right approach. The restrictions and limitations arising as a result of the pandemic actually didn't prevent the Antalya International Diplomacy Forum to take place. As you know, our minister is from Antalya, but despite all those restrictions and limitations, the Antalya Diplomacy Forum has taken place via a digital platform. And it is not coincidence that all those conferences took place after our digital transformation process. These two big screens that is standing just in front of me is an important success of our digital transformation office of the presidency, and I'd like to congratulate them once again.
Özellikle konsolosluk hizmetlerinde
And
tarihi nitelikte adımlar attık.
we have taken historical steps in our consulate proceedings, and we have reduced the proceedings time, so we have eased the burden on the shoulder of our citizens. But beyond all of that, hopefully at the end of next year or at the beginning of 2022,
Daimi konsolosluk, başkonsolosluk binamızı
our
inşallah
permanent chief
bitirmiş olacağız.
consulate building
Oradaki dev
will
hizmet
be completed,
binamızla
and with our
bu hizmetlerimizi çok daha etkin,
flamboyant
çok daha farklı bir şekilde
and great
inşallah
service building,
sürdüreceğiz.
hopefully those services will be continued to be given.
Özellikle dünyada geldiğimiz yeri göstermesi
And
bakımından
I also do believe that this is an important sign in terms of where we stand. How many floors does this building have? 32 floors.
32 kat yüksekliğinde
Okay, this building, the Chief Consulate
binasının tam karşısında
building, which is right in front of the United Nations building, will have 32 floors, and it will
eseri
be a wonderful masterpiece with its architecture, and we have
ve süratle bu inşaatımız da
constructed. We have started the construction of this building for the sake of our nation. Hopefully, after this construction comes to an end, our meetings and our conferences in the United States of America will be taking place via different opportunities. With our call center in our consulates, our citizens have had a chance to reach to our consulates anytime throughout the day, and we are disseminating the use of our mobile consulate services. And in order to enable our consulates and embassies to provide high quality services, our renovation studies are ongoing, of course. The previous prestigious project, the Turkish House of New York, hopefully will be completed by 90% next year. And we hopefully will start the construction of the building of our ministry. And we will improve the internet access of our system, and our citizens will be able to make use of the communication tools which will be working with artificial intelligence. And of course, we should be alert against the cyber attacks, and the preventive actions against the cyber attacks are also very important. With the Turkish Scientific Institute, TÜBİTAK, the first crypto document system has been put into practice, which is a critical step towards those goals. Esteemed ambassadors, 2023, which is the 100-year anniversary of the foundation of the Republic of Turkey, is also the 500-year anniversary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Turkey. In order to materialize 2053 targets and 2071 one vision, your contributions will be really important. Our country cannot live with the habits of the past and the fears of the past and history. We cannot build our future as such. In a climate where the interpersonal relations are changing, it is inevitable that the state bureaucracy should change as well. In the last 18 years, we have realized many changes and we have changed the paradigm in the Turkish foreign policy. So our bureaucracy cannot be distancing itself in a bulky manner against our citizens. We have stopped it already. And the doors of our state is open to our citizens. And we have given the command to our ambassadors and our embassies to open their doors to our citizens all the time. And we expect solution-based work and human-based approach from our embassies and consulates, of course. If you are not intertwining with the nation, with the citizens, and if you are not learning the culture of the country that you are working, you cannot be successful. With its centuries-long experience and finding the support from the history of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I do believe that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will embrace the future. Once again, I would like to remind you that you are the representatives of a great nation and a great tradition. And as this has been the case so far, I am certain that you will be shouldering this responsibility in the future and you will continue to be the source of pride for our nation. As I conclude my speech, I also would like to wish you success in your challenging duty and responsibilities. Once again, I'd like to thank each one of you, one by one. Of course, I am certain and I would like to wish success to my ambassadors to be assigned to their new position. I pray from God to be helping you. And once again, I'd like to thank anyone who contributed to the organization of the 12th Ambassador Conference. And I would like to extend my greetings to your families and to our Turkish citizens who live abroad in the countries where you work. I pray from God to help you, and I would like to extend my gratitude to each one of you. Thank you.
Yüksek müsaadelerinizle zatı devletlerine bir müddet daha sahnede misafir etmek isteriz. Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımıza refakat etmek üzere Sayın Dışişleri Bakanımızı da sahneye davet etmek isterim efendim. Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, programımızın bu bölümünde Dışişleri
Mr. President,
başarı öyküsüne tanık.
in this part of the conference, we will